Thank you, Mr. Monir. Right. So you have already said many things, and you have already published my identity, right? So once again, for my dear listener or dear viewer, right? So good evening, good morning, or in good afternoon from this world, right? So this is Dr. Najmul. I have been working as an assistant professor in Brac University, actually in the Department of Business School, right? I'm in the Brac Business School. So it's situated in Dhaka, Bangladesh. That's it, I think, right? So I'm here just teaching the information system. For example, more specifically, I teach computer applications is business, data analytics for business, right? Business analytics, marketing analytics, like this. So on the other hand, the management information system course, right? Even system analysis and design, these types of course actually I teach in my university. On the other hand, you have already told that my research interest is in information system, and right now I have been working with predictive analytics also, right? In some cases, or sometimes I go beyond the two specific criteria and maybe invest some more times on multiple area of research. For example, in some cases, the health analytics or others. I think that's it.
Thank you very much. Thank you, sir. Now we want to know about your research journey. Basically, we want to know about how you have become a researcher. Did you start your research journey?
To be honest, it's a very great question, right? Because many of our students ask us from where we should start, right? So many of the students actually feel, how can I say, the hesitation from where he or she should start actually. So if I would like to say my case actually, so it started in, how can I say, maybe in 2007 or 2009, like this, because in that time when I was a student of statistics, my perception was knowing SPSS, knowing stata, maybe I'm a researcher, right? So it was a very wrong concept. Just knowing the SPSS. After a certain period, I learned no, knowing SPSS, knowing stata, it means I'm a analyst, not a researcher, right? By the way, in 12, I a chance, sure. So in the break time, I mean in the class break time, I meet with him and told that, sir, I know these types of work and it is totally aligned with this class, right, or lecture. And how can I start actually? So without mentioning anything, he just said that please give your email ID, right? So I send my email ID to him. So after going to or back to the house, I noticed that there are lots of mail. Lots of means 3 or 4 or 5 emails, right? In 2012. Okay. So he just wrote there, please read these articles and give me some feedback, right? To be honest, in that time, I have already completed my master's, I mean, first master's in statistics, but I didn't know what is article, honestly. And when I passed my journey, I mean my MBA journey, it was half time. Maybe I have already completed probably 27 or 30 credit already completed, right? In that time, he sent some article and said, please read this and give some feedback to me after 3 days, 5 days later. I was just astonished. What is this? I just asked him, what is this? So he said that research paper. I don't know anything about research paper, right? So that was the first journey, and I was reading and reading continuously, to be honest, right? And I just start working, right? So in the meantime, I took my job. In that time, I was an analyst in Asiatic 360, which owner is Ali Jakir, Shara Jakir, right? You know, maybe, right? A prominent person in Bangladesh or media person. Okay. So in whole day, actually, I was working there. I'm in the analysis department, right? But after that, after back to the home, I was reading and reading. After that, I gave some feedback, right? So it was the first history in 2012 or 13, right? So from that time, actually, the journey was beginning, right? And to be honest, right now I'm in here. So it's about from 2012 to 2024. It's been around 12 years, right?
12 years.
So without reading, to be honest, the first step is to read and read. You don't need to understand, right? You don't need to understand anything. Just
I
try to
think
read.
there is no alternative to read such article.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
So
that was the first journey actually. Right now I'm here.
I think your teacher wanted to know to be familiar with you some research articles at that time, and
Probably.
I think it was very helpful for you and for you this respectful research journey. It's amazing to hear how you passion for research
Yeah,
began in
definitely.
your
Even
early
if,
academic.
even in my after a certain period, I lost him because he left Bangladesh, right, and went to Australia in 2015 or 16, maybe, right. So I lost him, but he created a network for me. He is also in Australia, and Dr. Shahajimia, right. Right now, he is the head of the Department of Business Analytics in Newcastle University and the advisor of Pro VC or VC, maybe. I'm not sure actually. Some days in the last year, actually, I was the visiting affiliated academic of that university. I'm in the Newcastle University of Australia, right? By the way, after that, I was working with that professor, right? And I published. I invested lots of time actually, just reading and writing, reading, learning, writing, reading, writing. So I
Yes.
didn't know something. It doesn't matter because when I was a child in at the age of 6, I didn't know what is A B C D. I didn't know what is Shoryo Shorya, right? I didn't know Alif Ba Ta Sa, but I started, right, and
Yeah.
after a certain period we learned. So nothing, no, nothing is a very good opportunity, I do believe, right? So I
Yeah.
can explore.
Three word we have gained from your speech, that reading, learning, and writing.
Right,
Okay,
continuous process.
Dr. Hassan, we know that research paper writing and then it's publishing in a good journal, it's a very tough task for any new novice researcher. So now we want to know how were you able to publish your several quality articles in prestigious journal?
That's a good, very good question because of many of us who are the junior researcher or who are the still I'm also a
Yeah.
junior researcher, right? By the way, who are the junior researcher, including me. To be honest, we are struggling. Still, we are struggling because still now we don't have any A star job. Star, I have not sure actually. I have to search that I have any A star or not. Maybe two A star. I have information system, right? Journal's
Oh,
name actually. Maybe yeah, maybe that is the A star journal. By the way, it's not a easy journey actually, right? Some days ago, maybe with Dr. Mr. Saver or any other platform, I take a lecture. I gave a lecture, 3 hours or 6 hours, maybe how to publish in a quality journal, right? Honestly speaking, it's not a good journey actually. Maybe you will find lots of motivator or scientist or researcher who will encourage you. Publishing the Q1 journal, publishing the A category journal or A star journal is quite easy, but I will not encourage, right? Because journey is not quite easy, it's quite difficult. So what types of category actually you should maintain to publish in a good journal, or what factors actually influence to publish in a good journal? First of all, my suggestion is to see some paper from your target journal. For example, I would like to publish in a Elsevier Journal of Business Research, right? Or on the other hand, MISQ, the top journal of management information system. Sorry. So my first task is to take look or take a look to some of the paper, right, in that journal, and I should follow some paper, some journal, I mean the previously published journal, which is aligned or which is aligned with my research, right, or with my interest. In that case, try to follow that paper. So first of all, try to know what was their aim and objective. Is or does your research title or research objective is aligned with that journal or not? If you say that it's fine, it's quite similar, or the aim and scope is quite related with that journal, you can focus. And after that, just try to make a draft, right? For example, so if you would like to write a research paper, here are two options actually, to be honest, two options. Writing a paper and completing a research project is not same actually. So when will you write a paper, or right, so when will you write a paper for publication, so you have to maintain a process. But when you are completing, when you're finishing a research project, actually maybe it's 2 years project, 3 years project, so it's not the same process. So first of all, I suggest to review the literature. Please, if you would like to publish your paper in the top information system journal, I suggest please don't review any paper except information system top journal. For example, I have targeted the MISQ, right? So I should review the literature from the basket 8 journal or basket 11 journal of the information system domain, right?
Right.
Please don't review the ABCD journal. I mean the, how can I say? I mean back and forth Humpty Dumpty journal, right? Right now I have been working as an associate editor or academic editor in 2 journals. So our first task, when I got a paper, I received a paper, our first task is to screen the reference list. It means reference list showed you actually what types of journal you focused for your literature or
Yeah.
for right. So if we see the journal paper or the list of literature review is from the very low category journal, to be honest we dex reject. And if we see that it's not with the aim and scope with our journal, or with it doesn't match with our objective, right? So to be honest, dex reject. So first or second suggestion is to review the top journals paper or top journals article, right? So this is the second. So after making the draft, for example, you have spent already 6 months, 7 months, or 8 months, and after a certain period you create a draft, right? So please don't submit your final draft report to your target journal directly. Please don't do this, right? Because of many top journals actually see very silly matters. For example, in management science or management decision, it's a very top journal in Emerald, right? So in their journal, if you don't maintain the author's guideline, for example, how can I say? For example, if you don't maintain their font size, space, referencing style, right? Even they will not
Table and
review
graph.
your paper. Yes, your table and graph, they will not review your paper, to be honest, right? On the other hand,
Yeah.
top journal do same. So please review it. Please send this paper to your senior. Don't rush. Don't be rush, right? Send this paper to your supervisor, to the senior. Please, maybe you have 0% error. Maybe if it's fine, but please send him, right?
And then
Maybe your
forward it to the directly to the journal.
my
We
suggestion
should
is not to
send it to
suggest,
the senior.
not to submit. Yes, first submit, send to your senior for your maybe to your supervisor. Maybe he will screen. And to be honest, in this world, without the God's creation, nothing is 100% accurate, right?
Yeah,
Without God's
obviously.
creation, without Allah's creation, in this world there is nothing that is 100% accurate. So when
Yes.
will you send the paper to your senior, to your supervisor, to the top professor, right? Maybe they will give you some very critical point. Maybe 1 line, maybe 2 line or 3 lines or 3 comments, 2 comments, but it will very helpful to you, right? So first, when we screen the paper as an editor, first step actually, did the author identify the gap, research gap effectively or efficiently or significantly, right? Is the objective is very crucial for the social impact or the theoretically what will impact in theoretically, right? So these types of answer actually we should be clear before submitting that paper. For example, the title is clear and concise, the abstract is providing the main message, right? The keyword is totally aligned with your research paper. The introduction, in the introduction, the background you clearly defined, you identified the gap, right? You identified the gap in a proper and scientific way, right? The objective is clear, right? In the introduction section, in the literature review section, to be honest, reviewed the literature from the very top journal or the journals you targeted, like this, for example, the information system domain or the forecasting domain. It depends, right? On the other hand, in the methodology section, you need to be, how did you collect the respondent, what was the ethical approval, and what is the confidentiality of the data, right? So when will you go to the results section, sorry, analysis section, all the analysis is allied to your research question or not. On the other hand, you will go to the discussion section, what you have defined in the introduction, you are describing this in the discussion or not, right? So
Yeah.
you have to make it in a flow. After completing, after getting all the question by yourself, right? you will throw the question to yourself. Did I do this? Did it is clear? If all the questions are 100% accurate, then please follow the guideline, author guideline of that journal, and then submit. Before that, please don't submit to the top journal, right? So it's not an easy task actually. Rejection is the very common. So there are lots of options. Don't worry if you get rejection, doesn't matter. Rejection is very common practice. Acceptance is a uncommon
Yeah,
practice, right?
yeah.
Okay,
After
I'm
some
sorry, maybe
rejection,
I'm very long, right?
you are absolutely right. I think after some rejection, then our paper or our new researcher's paper will be accepted by renowned
Yeah, right.
organizations.
Even getting the rejection is also effective, because when you get the rejection, the top journal actually will provide some insight,
Provide some
right?
recommendation.
And
Yeah, yeah.
and refine your paper as per the previous comment, and then submit to the another journal.
Sometimes getting the recommendations or reviews from reviewers, they can correct it their papers and they forward it another journals, then
Yes,
it will be accepted
yes,
hopefully.
right.
Dr.
Exactly
Hasan,
right.
thank you very much for your insightful discussion. Now we are curious to know your thoughts on why your articles have been so widely cited and what factors actually in your opinion contribute to their impact and visibility in the academic community.
To be honest, I rarely check my Google Scholar, right? I rarely check. But after some days, I saw that my citation is like that. Not sure actually why people are interested. Maybe, to be honest, maybe I'm not sure actually, but it's my perception. Probably you maybe notice in my Google Scholar profile, I work with the recent topic always, right? For example, in COVID, I was working was some COVID project, right? So it was related to information system. It was related to predictive analytics, but the case is like related to COVID, right? On the other hand, right now you will see some of my paper related to energy. So honestly speaking, please see everywhere you will find nothing without the energy. So I mean the crude oil, the electricity, right? Even in some cases, some, how can I say, the share market, in the big share market. So actually, I
That
would like
means
to try
burning
to
issue or
focus.
burning
Yes,
topic.
yes, burning issue, right? Burning topic. That is why maybe people or some researchers keep this paper or look at the paper, right? Yes. So I suggest to, even to be honest, my supervisor actually gives suggestion in two ways. Najmul, you have to be mastered in two ways. Number one, either you have to contribute in methodology. If not possible, if you would like to work in an empirical study, then focus on the burning issue, right? Either methodology or very
Or
recent
burning.
burning topics, right? So this is the two key factors or points in my research journey suggested by my supervisor actually.
Thank you very much. Another good discussion topic now I want to discuss with you. Basically, securing research funding can be quite challenging for researchers. And could you please share with us how were you able to obtain financial support from your research and manage other related topics?
Actually, in my case, when I was in PhD journey, right? I was in my PhD journey. In that case, supervisor actually collected some fund, and my university gave some fund actually, right? Even if I published in a top journal, I can remember I got lots of RMB actually. If I published in a category journal, is according to the Chinese category, right? So they gave us around 2 lakh plus, right?
Yeah.
And B category journal, maybe it was around 1 lakh and 1.5 lakhs, maybe in BDT, right? So to be honest, I didn't spend that money in my personal work, right? I tried to spend that types of money like when in some cases, maybe I can remember I have a publication in ITD, Information Technology for Development, right? It was a category journal. So after six round of revision, they asked me to six round of revision, right? Six round of revision, they asked me, please edit your language, but professionally, right? So it was a big problem. So in that time, maybe I left Hast probably, and I was in Bangladesh during COVID time. So I spent that money in the language editing, right? So in this way, actually, I managed, but professionally, after come back to Bangladesh, I didn't try for funding, right? But right now, I have been working I finished two projects. One is from Benbase, you know Benbase, right?
Yeah,
Benbase, and another is from NIME under the Education Ministry. So I
education
got
ministry.
actually two funding, right? And to be honest, it depends on quality. And on the other hand, maybe it's open secret or something. And one of our senior teacher from James PJ Public Health, in one lecture, he said that network is a big issue actually. To be
Yeah,
honest,
yeah,
so
network.
network should be the network should be with your seniors, top researcher, or on the other hand, network should be in industry, right? So network is a
Organization.
big issue. Yeah, network is a very big issue of getting the funding, right?
There are so many organizations are available in Dhaka and all over the Bangladesh and
Yes, yes,
plus,
yes.
and they fund so many funds for the researchers. Actually,
Right.
they fund for PhD researchers and field
Hmm.
researchers. But I think there is need a well communication with this
Right.
organization.
Right. Not only that organization, maybe you need to communicate or keep link with some senior researcher, right?
Of course,
Senior researcher. On the other hand, if we generalized this question, it depends. Some days ago, someone called me from UK, right? So he has some fund opportunity. So he asked me to work together in a project. It was in 10,000 euro. Sorry, pound, 10,000 pound, right? So it's a big around 15 lakhs in BDT, right? Or 13 lakhs in BDT. Okay, but problem is in UK there are lots of prominent researchers, including some prominent professor, right? But lots of proposal will be submitted or they received lots of proposal. So after that they screen the proposal. So probably they will ensure 100 proposal or 100 they will give 100 funds, right? But
yeah,
there are thousands of proposal. I mean quality proposal after screening, quality proposal. In that case, they made lottery system in UK. So there is a
yeah, yeah.
very how can I say zero chance to get the fund, right? So it depends. It's not generalized. It's contextualized actually. In Bangladesh there is a system. In UK there is another system. In China there is another system. In USA another system, right? That's it.
Thank you very much. Now we are keen to hear how your research is being applied practically. Could you explain the area in which your work is making an impact outside of the academia?
Yeah, actually, right now, once upon a time, we didn't think that, right? We didn't think that about the social impact or practical implication. We didn't think about that. But after joining in the institute like Brac or Brac University, actually, they always, the top management always asked how your research will impact in the society. So after that, actually, we thought, or we all researchers are thinking that how we can meet or how we can contribute to the society. To be honest, when we are thinking about the publication in a good journal, we think two points, right? One is the theoretical implication, one is the practical implication. So theoretically, we need to contribute, right? What was not explored yet. On the other hand, in practically, actually, we are thinking. For example, according to Scopus, my research article is being now focused on probably in lots of SDG. For example, some SDG 4, I mean the quality education, right? And the other hand, how can I say? I forgot actually all the SDGs. I mean 70 SDGs is quite difficult to memorize or realize, right? On the other hand, SDG 10 maybe the innovation. So if I think about innovation, so I published some methodological paper, right? So if you go to my profile, you will see some publication on information science and then energy and any other journal. Some days ago, we published in how can I say? Sorry, I forgot. Maybe information science, right? So these types of paper actually directly focus methodologically what was not explored yet, right? So
Yeah,
in this way, we can contribute to the society, right? But there is a problem actually. As a academician, we always try to, as a academician, we always try to contribute methodologically or theoretically, right? So, for example, someone discovered a plus b whole square, right? But after his a plus b whole square formula, after that, billions of people are applying this formula to in his real life, right? So, as an academician, our main contribution is to contribute. Our main focus is to contribute theoretically, right? So after creating the theory, after making the methodological contribution, maybe your method, for example, some days ago I published a paper, it was a methodological contribution. Right now, DSE, I mean the Dhaka Stock Exchange, Chittagong Stock Exchange, right? On the other hand, Shanghai, China, USA, Hong Kong Stock Exchange can use my methodology, can use our methodology, right? In this way, actually, we can contribute to the society, right? But directly, I am not, how can I say, I am not eligible to go to the market and implement, right? That was the action research, actually. So there are lots of people who will make the action, who will conduct the action research. But as an academician, as a doctor, as a researcher, I do believe when you are not practical or action researcher, right? So you need to contribute more on theory and method. Don't need to focus on the practice. But you should have a window. You should have some room to explore, open, to use your or implement your methodology, so that the society can be benefited, right?
Thank you very much. Good answer, good discussion. Dr. Hassan, what advice would you give to our young researchers who actually are just starting out their research journey, and what key tips would help them to be succeed from your
Uh,
opinion,
to
point of
be
view?
honest, if you'd like to make yourself a researcher or prominent researcher, good researcher, you should have patience, right? If you are a researcher, frankly speaking, after a certain period, you will have no vast amount of money, right? You will have no vast amount of money. So if, for example, you are a data scientist and you are working in a academy, right? You are a academician, so you will have not vast amount of money or deposit. But if you are a data
That's true.
scientist and if you are a data scientist and you go to the industry as a data scientist, you will have lots of money. So the objective, focus, goal is different, right? So right now I noticed many students actually, as I mentor some of not some of lots of students or any others, right? They are actually excited. They come first to me and the first question, how can I publish a paper? Why? Because they need a scholarship, right? Maybe he or she will go to the USA,
Point.
UK, or any other country, right? So he needs fund, right? So first approach, how can I publish a good quality paper?
Important.
But without investing your time, to be honest, is quite
It's not
difficult.
possible.
And please don't try to get it very earlier. I mentioned that I have been working around 13 years or like this, right? So after
12 years.
working 13 years, after publishing lots of paper, after publishing, even if you go to my Google Scholar profile, right, you will see my co-authorship list. You will see I worked with some USA professor. Even I don't know who is he or she, right? I worked with some Australian professor. Because of I approached him, I sent some paper. This is my work. Would you like to work with me, or may I be a assistant of you? Right? Approach
Interesting.
like so. Without evidence, they will not talk to you, right? Without any evidence, just I send my paper. I don't send every paper to him. I send only 2 or 3 papers which is related to his or her research interest, right? I send 1 or 2 papers. If he reply, then you will see I have lots of co-author from different country, USA, Australia, Saudi, even Middle East, right? China, lots of Pakistan, even some Bangladeshi, right? Lots of even in Indian also. So there are some prominent professors, right? So in this way, actually, sorry, I forgot the question. I'm sorry.
Your advice to the young researchers.
Yeah. To be honest, just one word. Dhurjo.
Okay. We are at the end of the
Don't
session.
be hurry. Don't be
Lastly,
hurry. Please,
lastly,
please.
could you tell us if there are any opportunities for young researchers to contribute with you, and what steps should they take to engage in potential research collaboration with you?
Honestly speaking, after come back to Bangladesh and joining Brac, right? I tried my best. I'm very enthusiastic, like Sabir Bhai, right? I asked to my student, please come to me, learn something or like that.
Interesting.
So at first they are very keen, right? They are very interested. They show their interest. Within some days they will publish some paper, right? So after some days, sometimes ago I mentioned the word patience. They lost their patience, right? So to be honest, it's a waste of time. because I invested 3 months, 4 months, in some cases 1 year, right? So waste of time. So to be honest, always welcome. Even in Brac University, lots of students knows that, even from different department. Dr. Najmul is very cooperative for research collaboration,
Research.
right? Because I know without collaboration it's quite difficult, right?
Yeah, yeah.
You will see lots of researchers who published many papers, 30, 35, 20, 30 papers in a year, in a single year, calendar year, right? How? Because of collaboration. For example, you need to write 10,000 word, 8,000 word, meaningful. It doesn't mean you are writing anything, right? So if you divide your work, maybe someone is good at methodology, someone is good at writing the literature review, someone is good at identify the problem. So collaborate with them, right? So
Yeah.
collaboration is a very important part, and I always welcome to collaborate, right? My email ID is open in the Brac University
Google.
website, right? On the other hand, just nazmul.hasan at the rate of bracu.ac.pt, right?
It's easy way to reach you.
Yes,
Yes.
easy way to reach you. On the other hand, maybe you have the platform. I mean, we
Yeah,
are
of course.
right.
If
So in
someone
this
want to
platform,
contact with you, they can collaborate with us, and we will reach you to them.
right, right. Even I have also right. Or to be honest, I'm the talking another issue. For example, in private university, actually, we have to spend lots of time for consultation, right? Student consultation. So after passing the 2 years, I noticed that each and every semester, just I'm talking about the same things, right? So as a person of information system, a researcher or like this, I just think if I record this, right, lectures, for example, on
Yeah,
Power BI, SPSS, Smart PLS, and any other software. On the other hand, some research methodology or so it's very easier if someone come to me, sir, I would like to know what types of chart actually we should use for what types of data, right? It's a very critical question. So year by year, semester by semester, I'm talking the same thing. So I just right now record and store in the YouTube, and who asks me, I just gave the link, please see here,
it's
right?
just easy way
And
to.
after that, if you have more problem, right, what I didn't describe in that video, please come to me, right? In this way, there are two facilities. One, the students who is really enthusiast, right? At first he will see that. After that he will come to you, sir, I didn't
Yeah.
learn this, I didn't understand this, please explain more. So I should spend more time on that student. But many of the student actually will be lost, right? So it's not wise to invest time on to that student, right? So
It's yeah,
collaboration is
it
open.
is,
Just
yeah.
communicate
It's
with me.
also your YouTube channel also a great opportunity for the researchers who actually wanted to do research, so they can view your research materials again and again through YouTube channel. Thank you, sir. Thank you for your valuable discussions.